Hi, Conrad White here with episode 26 of Success Council. Today, we continue looking at some government-run industries that may be much better off under the free market system. In episode 11, and to a lesser extent episode 3, we exposed about just how horrific public education is. I will just add one little piece of information to that. Recently, RT.com revealed that in New York City, 80% of high school graduates lack reading or math skills required to get into community colleges. Children are born with natural curiosity. So it is hard to believe that any parent would want to send their child to a public school and quash that desire, leaving them without basic reading and math skills. But somehow the evil geniuses in government came up with a way to stomp out children's natural curiosity. It is to the point where you really have to have no other choice if you opt to send your child to a government-funded school. What is even more terrifying is how much money the government steals off of you to not educate your child. In New York, for example, state education costs taxpayers $37,000 per child per year. K through 12 is 13 years of schooling, so New York State spends $500,000 per child to teach 20% of them to read. It's not hard to see the country is broke. If you have ever been around an infant, one of their most endearing qualities is curiosity. Their curiosity is seemingly never satiated. It is not until they go to school and are literally bored to death by a terrible system that learning becomes a chore. Public school teaches children to hate learning. Once they have been bored to death, we label them with imaginary diseases like attention deficit disorder, ADD, and drug them into paralysis. For anyone who thinks their child has ADD, there is a very simple test. Let them do something they love. If they stay focused on it, then they have no problem remaining focused or paying attention for long periods of time. These same kids will often lose hours at a time on video games or anything else they love. ADD is what a terrible school system labels kids who they bore to death rather than admit it is their fault and change their teaching practices. No wonder there is a huge trend towards homeschooling, peer schooling, and community schooling. The free market has provided many options in this realm. I will focus on two here. The first is Khanacademy. Bear in mind, this is a free website that anyone can use. Here is inventor Salman Khan explaining.
Khanacademy is most known for its collection of videos. So before I go any farther, let me show you a little bit of a montage.
So the hypotenuse is now going to be 5. This animal's fossils are only found in this area of South America, a nice clean band here, and this part of Africa. We could integrate over the surface, and the notation usually is a capital sigma. National Assembly, they create the Committee of Public Safety, which sounds like a very nice committee. Notice this is an aldehyde and it's an alcohol. Start differentiating into effector and memory cells. A galaxy. Hey, there's another galaxy. Oh look, there's another galaxy. And for dollars is their 30 million plus the $20 million from the American manufacturer. If this does not blow your mind, then you have no emotion.
We now have on the order of 2,200 videos covering everything from basic arithmetic all the way to vector calculus and some of the stuff that you saw up there. We have a million students a month using the site, watching on the order of 100 to 200,000 videos a day. The other thing that happened, and, even at this point, I said, okay, maybe it's a good supplement, it's good for motivated students, it's good for maybe homeschoolers. But I didn't think it would be something that would somehow penetrate the classroom. But then I started getting letters from teachers. And the teachers would write saying, we've used your videos to flip the classroom. You've given the lectures. So now what we do, and this could actually happen in every classroom in America tomorrow, what I do is I assign the lectures for homework, and what used to be homework, I now have the students doing in the classroom. And I want to pause here for... I want to pause here for a second because there's a couple of interesting things. One, when those teachers are doing that, there's the obvious benefit. There's the benefit that now their students can enjoy the videos in the way that my cousins did. They can pause, repeat at their own pace, at their own time. But the more interesting thing, and this is the unintuitive thing when you talk about technology in the classroom, by removing the one-size-fits-all lecture from the classroom and letting students have a self-paced lecture at home. And then when you go to the classroom, letting them do work, having the teacher walk around, having the peers actually be able to interact with each other. These teachers have used technology to humanize the classroom. They took a fundamentally dehumanizing experience, a bunch of 30 kids with their fingers on their lips, not allowed to interact with each other. A teacher, no matter how good, has to give this kind of one-size-fits-all lecture to 30 students, blank faces, slightly antagonistic, and now it's a human experience. Now they're actually interacting with each other. And so the paradigm is the teacher walks in every day, every kid works at their own pace, and a teacher this is actually a live dashboard from Los Altos School District, and they look at this dashboard. Every row is a student. Every column is one of those concepts. Green means the student's already proficient. Blue means that they're working on it, no need to worry. Red means they're stuck. And what the teacher does is literally just says, let me intervene on the red kids. Or even better, let me get one of the green kids who are already proficient in that concept to be the first line of attack and actually tutor their peer. Over and over again, if you go 5 days into it, there's a group of kids who've raced ahead and there's a group of kids who are a little bit slower. And in a traditional model, if you did a snapshot assessment, you say, oh, these are the gifted kids, these are the slow kids. Maybe they should be tracked differently. Maybe we should put them in different classes. But when you let every student work at their own pace, and we see it over and over and over again, you see students who took a little bit extra time on one concept or the other, but once they get through that concept, they just race ahead. And so the same kids that you thought were slow 6 weeks ago, you now would think are gifted. And we're seeing it over and over and over again. And it makes you really wonder kind of how much all of the labels, maybe a lot of us have benefited from, were really just due to a coincidence of time. Imagine what it does to a street kid in Calcutta, who has to help his family during the day, and that's the reason why he or she can't go to school. Now they can spend 2 hours a day and remediate or get up to speed and not feel embarrassed about what they do or don't know. Now imagine what happens where, we talked about the peers teaching each other inside of a classroom, but this is all one system. There's no reason why you can't have that peer-to-peer tutoring beyond that one classroom. Imagine what happens if that student in Calcutta all of a sudden can tutor your son, or your son can tutor that kid in Calcutta. And I think what you'll see emerging is this notion of a global one-world classroom. And that's essentially what we're trying to build.
Very cool indeed. While Khan Academy has stuck with a very traditional curriculum, and by that I mean the same sort of stuff the government programs teach, another option that has just been announced is www.ronpaulcurriculum.com. In addition to the mainstream, the Ron Paul program will be teaching children how to start a home business and how to defend the liberty philosophy. K-5 is available for free now, and later this year, the 6 through 12 curriculum will come online. It will be very interesting to see how the market reacts to this program and how children benefit. Either way, it certainly is nice to see some competition in the field of education. Competition breeds excellence. Hopefully, one day our children will be getting a real education for pennies because parents want the best for their children. And when large numbers of people do this, then families, New York ones anyway, will be $37,000 per year per child wealthier. Next week, we'll talk about consumer protection and some very big ideas for freedom. See you then.